or bad? Yeah. What's going on? I like it, buddy. Okay, if you don't like it, I don't like it. Well, you'll just be back for a little while. Morning. What's going on, peoples? How you doing? Where my road dogs at? What you guys got today? Yeah, there's some good, there's a couple plays going on. It seems like there's some pre-market movers, but they're all in the small cap, so there's nothing good on the normal side of things. But we'll take a look over here. Hold on here. Let me get my chat room, guys. There are links. Yeah. All right, let's take a look. So, yeah, I was gone Wednesday to Thursday or whatever, but earnings season's coming up, so we should be able to get some really good juice in the next, I would say, week or so. The beginning of earnings season is always a little bit slow, but then it starts to pick up. So I do anticipate that. I do anticipate it starting to pick up relatively soon. So let's take a look at kind of where we see the market here. So market here is a little bit overbought. You can see you're at a 91 stochastic, so you're a little bit extended. We've got probably maybe one more day's worth of room up to the top of the Bollinger Band, but we've been cruising really nicely for about a week or so. So a little bit of a pullback or a rest in the markets will be really good because it'll allow it to breathe a little bit, which we need, frankly. You don't want that market to get too overbought, because what happens is when you get overbought and you chase strength, like at breakouts and stuff, you end up getting flooded back down. So today we're actually opening weak, so that's good because that gives you the opportunity to go red to green in the market, and that's when you'll have a little bit more room to run kind of right back up into resistance. So overall, the market's looking okay. Let's take a look at some of the gappers. So this CODA is on the watch list here. You can see this thing's breaking out of a kind of a 2-year range. You're going back from 2017. You got 4.5 million share float. I wouldn't chase this thing at the open. You don't know really how this thing's going to go. Sometimes these things gap up and then they just get flushed back down and they fade off all day. What you need to do is wait for a setup. So if it starts to hold, after it starts gapping up, right, and goes for an ORB, I'd prefer to hit it even on a dip. That's going to be a lot easier. We'll see how it acts around there. This Pixie's gapping down, so it was up 68% the other day. It's opening up pretty weak. Something like this, though, you could go red to green on this one. And so this bottom may actually hold. I'd really kind of watch this $4 level here. If it starts to hold when the market opens, you start to round your way back up. You may get a really quick spike back into these kind of 5 ranges. Remember, with these kind of little turds, you don't want to marry these things, though. They're hit and run stocks. This ARNC looks okay. This one's probably going to be a little bit slow. So you are gapping out of this range. You're moving pretty nicely. You're moving pretty nicely pre-market, but the float on this is pretty big. It's 400 million shares. So you're definitely going to have a much smaller, much smaller range than probably some of the other ones, but it does look pretty good. Remember, at the open, you never chase these things right off, right? You got to wait for them to ORB, or you got to wait for them to, do a quick pullback buy. For those of you that are new, check the YouTube channel. I've done tons of videos on kind of the ORB pattern. But ORB pattern is, right, a gap up and then 3 sideways candles on 5-minute chart. It's got to be tight, though, and then if it breaks out, you can hit it. But if it's not tight and you need to wait about 15 minutes, then you got to leave them alone because they'll just come flooding back down. If they don't ORB, wait for that quick pullback buy so that they pull back towards that 9 EMA, and then you'll be good to go. The rest of the watch list, this SFIX looks still pretty good. You're starting to flag over the 9 EMA. Not a lot of tech stocks were actually working out that well, for at least the main ones that we watch. This SFIX looks okay. This looks like it's got a little bit more upside. This SRPT, if it can still break, still watching that 140 mark. If you look at the hourly, This thing is wrapped up really tight. It's just got to break this level over here. And if it can, I think this one's got a lot of upside, maybe into the 150s, 60s over a few days once it starts to break. I'm really liking this new. The volume on this one sucks, so there's no liquidity just yet. What we got to do is kind of see if this thing starts to bust loose out of this. What we'll want to see is at least, it's got to do at least 500,000 shares in volume before you kind of get interested in it. Otherwise, you get stuck in it because there's just going to be a spread. This Docky is real tight. If it can break this range, and that'll take it over the 20 SMA, I think that one's going to have some potential on it. You know, you could see if it breaks this range, you know, over the next so many days, you know, you may come in and get into this kind of 66, 67 range back towards its highs. That's a bottoming pattern. You know, it's spent, what, 2 weeks now, well, a little bit more than 2 weeks, bottoming it out after that big run. If it hits over this 20 SMA, keep it going. Man, WTI oil sucks to trade. Watch AAOI over this 50 mark. And then this ZTL, this might need another day or two. Let this 9 EMA tighten up. If it could just hang out here for another day, that 9 EMA should kind of tighten up right up under it. And that one's going to be pretty hot. On the other side of things, we are seeing a nice run in... there's been a pretty nice run in crypto this morning. So, you know, I'd keep a couple of these. We're seeing longer term bottoming patterns on this in our crypto chat room. I did put some money to work today. You know, I'm starting to like some of these setups that are emerging. But if you look at these are kind of longer term bottoming patterns. You can see here like this NEO after it's been flooded from 96 down to 28. You popped up to 44, so it's a huge mover. You came back and made a higher low, and now you're starting to close over these MAs. This one looks really, really hot. I've added this IOTA myself. You can see over here, we've got kind of a double bottom here at this $1 mark, and we're starting to break over some moving averages. So this is what they'd call like a W bottom, right? Notice how it looks like a W essentially. So that's really, really powerful. And then, you know, even on ETH, so ETH kind of, right, that's the big boy that kind of runs the market along with Bitcoin. But you can see with ETH too, you really double bottomed in those 420s. Right there. So now that this thing is starting to bust over some MAs, I think that, you know, you're going to have like a nice, see how you started to clear over the 9 and the 20? This thing is probably, the resistance is going to be at this 496, but if you could start to bust over that, I think you're going to really see some momentum come into the market. So I wouldn't go balls deep on this stuff, but it is looking like we're starting to see some momentum pulling in the cryptos. And I've got some longer term positions in some of these things like Batcoin, which is probably one of my favorites. And there's a couple other ones that I've been eyeballing, but all of these will look pretty good. I'd start waiting for some entries on these. Cryptos is easier to swing trade than day trade, but even BCH is starting to look really good. Check out that double bottom, right in the 700 level. Now you're breaking over these MAs. When you get the candle that closes over the MAs, that's when you're going to go in and get some really of the hot stuff. Yeah, the IQ looks okay today. It's gapping up a little bit, but not much. This thing very well could just go back and flood in and just it very well could go back and it could come all the way back down. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but we'll see. I'd keep it on the list because if it does break over this way, you'll see what's going on. And yeah, I pumped $40 stocks. Go fuck yourself, little loser. That's the way it goes. So I got to go to the chat room, guys. I keep an eye on these ones, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, Dakota is starting to look hot, so you're starting to already flag out over here. That's how it's going to be on this one. So we'll rock and roll on these bad boys and see what we got going on. All right, let's go do what we got to do. All right. All day. You ready, man? That took me a few days to recover from our bro hang. I was recovering yesterday. But that was pretty fun. Hey, it was really fun to meet a lot of you guys in Atlantic City at the conference. That was pretty cool. I'll make sure to get everybody's pictures out and stuff. I took so many. Things got loose. True, true, true. And yeah, we got a webinar at 12. So I'll see you guys at 12 if you guys are still hanging around. All right? I got to get in my chat room and do what I do.